today I'm going to show you a couple of ways that I use to make my shoes even better. I'm taking some white petroleum jelly and I'm putting the jelly onto the leather shoes. So these are real leather shoes, and I'm putting lots of white petroleum jelly all over the leather. So this petroleum jelly is going to be absorbed by the leather when it is warmed up a little bit. So just cover the entire leather surface with this white petroleum jelly. It's usually very easy to get a similar product. So I keep on applying the white petroleum jelly until all the leather is covered, and I put on a lot of jelly. You need a lot. So I'm doing the top of the shoe as well. Now I'm going to move on to the next shoe, and I'm going to do the same thing with this shoe. White petroleum jelly is often used as a hand cream. It's used for skin. It does a really good job of making the leather softer and more pliable. And it also protects the leather from water. It makes the leather slightly waterproof. And it usually darkens the leather as well once it's finished being treated. There are also some drawbacks to this process, one of which is the leather becomes less breathable, and the other is that the leather easily attracts dust. But this doesn't bother me. You can always wipe the shoe off again. I'm doing the same thing to a leather belt. This technique works really with any leather. The leather is relatively dry, so the leather will easily absorb the white petroleum jelly. Now I'm putting a clear acrylic airtight lid on top of the black plastic box. And I'm putting the shoes inside of the box. You can see after a while, after the lid has been on for a while, the Vaseline will start to melt. You need a nice sunny day with no clouds and at least 25 Celsius. If you live in a warm country, you're very lucky because this is much easier and you can do this for most of the year. If you live in a cold country, you can probably only do this during the summer when the weather is hot. This works kind of like the inside of a car on a hot day. The box, which is airtight, has lots of sun shining through the clear top, and the box gets hot after a while, which causes the white petroleum jelly to melt, and then you can easily rub it into the leather. It's very easy to do this. You can see the leather just absorbs the melted white petroleum jelly almost like a sponge. It just sucks it up, and you have to bend the leather back and forth and rub the white petroleum jelly into the leather. And it takes a little bit of work to do this, but not too much. It's actually a very quick process. You can see I'm just rubbing the melted white petroleum jelly all over the leather, and I'm bending the leather back and forth. And you can see the leather is just absorbing the white petroleum jelly, and the leather is getting darker. It's still pretty greasy, but you'll see most of the white petroleum jelly will be absorbed by the leather. It's amazing how much white petroleum jelly the leather can absorb. You can see I just keep rubbing it everywhere. Every little spot of the shoe gets rubbed, and I rub the white petroleum jelly on the seams near the bottom by the sole, just everywhere where there's exposed leather. And the idea is basically to get the leather to suck up the melted white petroleum jelly and absorb it. Just keep working it, keep rubbing it and moving it around. It takes a little bit of time to do this, but it doesn't take too long. The box has to be airtight for this to work. It works kind of like a greenhouse. The heat just builds up in the box because of the sunlight. And you also should have a black box because black absorbs the sunlight better. This is just a black plastic storage container. They're readily available. You can use a similar product as well. Now I just wipe off the excess white petroleum jelly with a paper towel or some toilet paper. And you can wipe it off of the soles of the shoe too. That's fine. It's actually very easy to do this, and then you just throw the paper towel out. It just takes a couple minutes to clean them up. So now they aren't really greasy anymore. They're just very slightly greasy, which is fine. I'm going to do the same thing to the belt. I'm going to bend it a lot. Just try and move it back and forth, bend it, and just try and get the melted white petroleum jelly to be absorbed by the leather. Somehow when you bend it, it seems to get absorbed more easily into the leather. So you just keep going and you wipe it up and down the belt like that, bend it, keep working it in, and this will take a couple of minutes to do, but not too long. You have to be careful. Sometimes the box gets so hot that you might feel some discomfort if you touch the hot petroleum jelly, so just be careful before you touch it. So now I just wipe off the excess white petroleum jelly with the paper towel, and you can see the belt is now just slightly greasy. This is what the shoes look like after they've been treated and they've cooled down. You can see they are now no longer very greasy. The white petroleum jelly has become hard, or has become more solid. And there's still some grease on or white petroleum jelly on the shoes, on the soles, which is fine. Just wipe that off. That'll wear off with time. Don't worry about that. Just be careful. The shoes might be a little slippery for a little while, but the dust and dirt will definitely wear off the petroleum jelly on the soles of the shoes after a period of time. So there are the shoes. You can see they've changed color, and now they are also slightly water resistant. Now I'm going to put some insoles into the shoes, some good quality insoles. You can find some wherever you live. There's also orthopedic versions. This makes the shoe much more comfortable. And I'm going to use laces, some longer laces than people would usually use, because I like to have more lace to tie a special knot. So now I'm just lacing up the shoes, and it's quite simple. You can use whatever lacing technique you like. There's a lot of them. So the shoes are now more comfortable, and they are more waterproof, and the leather is more flexible, and the leather is a little bit darker. So I've just done a couple things to these shoes, and now they are quite different. They look different, and the leather also behaves differently. On the downside, this leather is now no longer as breathable as it was before, simply because the white petroleum jelly makes the leather a little bit watertight, and this seems to restrict airflow a little bit. But you can try it and see for yourself and see if you like the result. You have to have real leather when you're doing this. You can't do this on synthetic leather. It doesn't work. It has to be real leather. So now I just twist around a couple times, and I get a nice looking bow like this. So what I did now was I wore some short socks, because this is summertime. So the short socks are a little bit cooler than long socks. They don't get as hot. And now you can see here are the shoes, and I pour some water on them, and you can see the water runs right off of the treated leather. It works really good. The petroleum jelly works really good for this purpose. You can just shake off the water and the shoes are fine and the leather is protected. It is also possible to treat a bunch of shoes with white petroleum jelly at the same time. You can put the white petroleum jelly on the shoes and put them in the box and then let the sun do its work. Remember, it has to be at least 77 Fahrenheit or 25 Celsius for this to work, and you need a sunny day with no clouds. Thanks for watching and have a great day.